So it's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hi friends, and welcome to the Arsenal Victory Review podcast on For the Love of McGrath podcast. I made an absolute hames of the intro there. Nothing like an intro I've ever done before, but it doesn't matter because I'm over the moon. And while I may have made a hames of the intro, Aston Villa certainly didn't make a hames of this game that we played today. They played a pitch perfect game, I think. Well, I won't say perfect game, but they played a game that was full of grit, determination, heart, and obviously full of one more goal than Arsenal as well, because we came out of it with 3 points. And the wonderful Paddy is here with me today, and he's wearing a jersey that can only be a jersey from a man that played his heart out as well today. He's got the lovely Emmy Martinez, goalkeeper's lovely green jersey on today. And for those of you who watch this on YouTube, because I think I'm going to pop it up on YouTube, just see if we can pop it up there as well for historical purposes more so than anything else, because we certainly don't want to see our visages too much, because I don't know about you, Paddy, but my old haggard old West of Ireland face might scare away a couple of fans of the podcast. But I've ranted enough, Paddy. How are you doing?
I am delighted. I'm in great form. I've had the mother and fathers of all days with work. I had to stop for 2 hours to watch the game and then get back to it. And I did the whole afternoon with a smile on my face. So I'm very, 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 very happy.
That is brilliant. Yeah. Not only is it good to hear that somebody is doing a pile of work at the moment, and that it's piling in, that is great. But also look as well to be able to do it after an Aston Villa win. And like there's a kind of a lot to talk about in this game, but at the same time, it would just be kind of mentioning players' names and saying that they played really, really well. And that's a fantastic problem to have. I'm not good. There's like, usually we come on here and we're saying, yeah, it was a great win, but it could have been so much more different because VAR nearly fucked us over or something along those lines. But we came into this game today in a game whereby I think both of us, if the truth be told, thought that it might be a step too far for this team, considering that they did look leggy. Or that I was beginning to be convinced that they might be leggy after being a big staunch a kind of believer in the statistics and the sports science, and I should have just stuck to my guns and believed it, because it turned out to be the right hunch. The team went out there today and they defended gritty, and they defended well, and they defended with a great structure to it. And when players were beginning to huff and puff a small bit, there was players change. But before we look into the substitutions and so on, the big bombshell that dropped before the game was the rotation of a certain Brazilian international and Douglas Luiz for Marvelous Nakamba. Being honest, Paddy, what were your initial thoughts when you saw it?
Well, I honestly didn't know what to make of it, to be honest. I was looking at it going, you're looking at the team and you're going, geez, Nakamba's in there, who's missing? As Luiz doesn't obviously jump out off the page straight away. You're looking at along the strikers, obviously, to see, because you don't expect any changes further back the pitch. Nakamba played a few weeks ago, and I think we gave him man of the match, but I think I did anyway.
Yeah, we did.
He probably deserves a run and deserves a start. So we can't really argue with him being included. When I realised he was there, and I was expecting it to be McGinn, and I saw McGinn was there, and I realised then that Luiz was out, and it was like, yikes. I wasn't expecting that one. I think you did call it in the preview that Nakamba might get a run, but I don't think you anticipated it was at Dougie's expense.
No, but look, we're sick of talking about me being right about these things, Paddy. It's not about me being right. We know I was right, but it's not about me being right. That's a humble brag there. I'll be honest with you, like I couldn't have made it more obvious in the podcast that I was literally just throwing something out to make a talking point. It just happened that the stop clock was right in this instance here. But I think Rick Leong will enjoy this one because I told him I was a blind squirrel that found a nut before about something I predicted. So the blind squirrel came up tricks again. So that was it was I look, hand on heart. I said at the time I didn't expect it to happen, but it wouldn't blow me away if it happened, and I thought it would be for John McGinn. But when I thought about it, and I sent you a rather lengthy text, and without going into the nuts and bolts of the text, because there was a bit of frustration behind the text I sent you. I can see why. I can see why Nakamba was brought in for Douglas Luiz and not John McGinn, because it prompted me to go and look at the statistics. And Douglas Luiz, when pushed a small bit further, had one of his worst games. He against Wolves. He graded out as one of his worst games, and it was actually slightly worse than his game against Newcastle. Even in a win, both of those were wins. So I think maybe we kind of glossed over kind of Douglas Luiz's two games there because they were both wins, one against Wolves, one against Newcastle. And look, this isn't me sticking a boot into Douglas Luiz. I still think that he should have come on at some stage today. There was times in that game after Nakamba got the other card, I was like, okay, now it's time to bring on Douglas Luiz. Now it's time to bring on Douglas Luiz. Okay, we know what we're going to get here. We can't afford a red card, because we were setting ourselves up to defend. We were digging our heels in there. And Douglas Luiz will be back in that team again, probably, I would say, in a week's time. Who knows what the issue was with him. But as I said in the Villa View, he's not unrotatable. He's a 22-year-old guy. Sometimes I fall victim of thinking that he's way older. He's maybe 26, 27. He's experienced. He's battle hardened. Maybe it's because he looks so physically well formed for that position. He looks like he's got an old head in his shoulders, and he basically dragged us up off our bootstraps last year in the running. So fair play to him. But he's, Nakamba came in today, and we're looking for people to put their hands up and show options from the bench, because there was times over the summer where it was a case of we were expecting Nakamba to go. And look, he's come in and he's had two sparklers. Like, he's had two very, very good games, and when he's been asked to do it. And John McGinn ran his heart off today. He's got the most thankless position in this team, because it's not the same position he played at the start of last season when he was grabbing goals against Spurs and running past the striker. That's not his position here anymore. His position here is to help out Matty Cash and to literally run his legs off every game. And I thought he did well. And they brought back in Traore as well, who, for me, was excellent tracking back in the first half today.
Yeah, he did very well. Yeah. Probably he might have ran out a bit of juice there before he was taken off, and that's fair enough. He's doing a completely different role than he's used to, and there's a lot more work involved, so can't fault him. Did absolutely superb for the goal. Bear in mind that the goal came from Emi Martinez pinging the ball to him in the middle of the park. Gives it to McGinn. McGinn gives the ball away on a ball. Bertrand Traore runs 25 yards to win the ball back. Takes it by the defender, puts the ball across. Ollie gets a little bit of luck with a deflection. I think it probably would have went in anyway. I think it might have gone in the other corner. Hard to say, but look, the ball ended up in the back of the net. You had a bad start to the podcast. Thankfully, we didn't have a bad start to the game.
yeah. First 90 seconds for me were pretty atrocious. Not my normal polished self, of course, if there is such a thing. But thank God for Wally Watkins. And you know what? Arsenal had a ton of touches of the ball today, and one of the guys, he's had a very good season. He's had actually a very, very good season, is Rob Holding. But Rob Holding's biggest problem is he stands off people so much. And when you look at it, I can understand why he does it, because he's a big block of a man, and in the box like that, he's best to stand off Ollie Watkins. But Ollie Watkins, he always does it. He did it at Brentford last season. I must look back to see if he did it in this instance, but I would imagine he did, because he had a bit of time when the ball came to him. He kind of gets to that area and takes a step backwards, and or maybe pulls up maybe about a yard short of where you think he would be going to. But Holding has about a 3 yard buffer on Holding at that stage, and all Holding can do is try and make himself big and get a touch on the ball, and he did, and it squirted into the corner. And I thought actually Holding was one of their better players today. He was getting up in around the box, and he was making a nuisance of himself. And he had 80 touches of the ball today. He was their third highest he had the third highest amount of touches after Granit Xhaka and Saka today.
Mm.
So I was actually really impressed with him. Thought he was really good. The commentators were,
I never rated him, and I actually thought he
no,
did really well. It was his only mistake, and I think he does that all the time. But you can't afford to do that on the edge of the 6-yard box. You've got to
no.
be tighter.
But I think the movement of the striker didn't exactly help him either. I think it was a case of when the striker pulled his run short and he was given the buffer, maybe thinking, right, I don't want to get too close to him here because it's going to be a penalty. And next thing the striker pulls up a yard and a half short and he's on the back foot and he's like, oh,
Yeah.
I'd say in that moment he was kind of like, oh no, I'm after getting caught with that run. It just kind of looked like that was the situation, and all he could do was kind of spread his legs really, and try and get a touch in it. But they were a good side. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say that Arsenal played poorly today, because they're good. They were a good side today. I thought we defended brilliantly. I thought Matty Cash, Matty Target again were imperiously good. They were fantastic. I thought Nakamba, as I said, Tyrone Mings was like a brick wall back there. You know, he did.
Yeah.
He just did everything he's supposed to do. You know, nodded the ball away. Just, you know, okay, he pinged a couple of them out over the line. I don't care. Isn't it better than trying to do a Cruyff turn, 15 yards outside your box and losing it? Ping it up the field. Proved what he is today. Really, really good defender. Really, really good defender. And
it was the most solid I think I've seen him in a long time.
Yeah. And Konza was fantastic as well. Just like literally, I said that we could just go through this podcast and say he was brilliant, he was brilliant, he was brilliant. And that's what it turned out today. Was Arsenal made a mistake. We didn't.
Well, I think the only person going through the whole team that I didn't think was brilliant was Ross Barkley. And I'm hoping that his reaction when he was taken off was because he didn't think he was brilliant himself, and not that he was pissed off being taken off. Like, they all need to be rotated. I think it was his turn. Obviously, Dougie didn't start. McGinn was taken off the last day, so it was just his turn today to make way. Plus, I didn't think he had a particularly good game. He went missing for long periods of the game and just couldn't get into it. And look, that's no slight on him. When he did get into it, I thought he did quite well. He played a couple of through balls there that were good. He held the ball up well a couple of times, but I don't think it was one of his better games.
My thought process on why he kicked the bottle is probably because I would do the exact same thing in an instance like that. Like, at times I would have when I was playing. If a player is taken off because he's playing bad, he probably knows he's playing bad and he doesn't really mind. But if you take a player off because you feel that you're not fit enough, or you're blowing out your hole, and a player doesn't feel like that, they're kind of like, what you mean? I had another 15, 20 minutes in it. Focus, I might never get back into the team again. Look, adrenaline runs high. It happens all that time. There's no way Dean Smith is going to go over and start trying to console him there and then, because he's got, like, Ross Barkley's going to be as high as a kite after coming off the field with the endorphins and everything like that they're running through the body. Let him simmer down. Put your arm around him an hour after the game and say, listen, you're still a starter on my team. There's no need to be kicking bottles, all right? We took you off because the data told us we needed to take you off. And
he's relatively new. You don't see too many interviews with him, and that's why I don't know whether it was because he was pissed off at being taken off or being pissed off at his performance. So we'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but
I think
I don't like it. I don't like to see it. I think we knew when we saw Jack Grealish getting taken off and he was sitting in a huff on the bench. We know Jack well enough to just have a good laugh at that. Yeah. But this one, I'm not so sure.
Look, I'm.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm sure he really wanted to go and finish off the game and beat Arsenal and see it out. I suppose coming from Chelsea, there wouldn't be much love there at all. So, as I said, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, but I don't really like when players do that. I think it's a bit disrespectful.
Yeah, I don't make too much of it. Andy Gray made a huge piece out of it in BN Sports as well. And Switch, I looked at it, I went, he kicked the bottle, what about it? I've often come off and been taking off my boots and fired them against the wall. Like, it's just like frustration maybe at myself, or you might be going, I don't want to be told that I'm not fit enough because I break my arse in training every week or whatever. That would be my thought process on it. But then again, he could have, I don't think he's doing it saying, giving Dean Smith the two fingers. Look, it's much ado about nothing. It's much for me. It would be much ado about nothing. But I preferred it that he didn't give the cameras something to pick up on. Maybe.
Exactly. Yeah.
There was something running through my mind there, and I was going to. Was a particular passage of play I wanted to bring up, but this is great. Once again, look,
All right. Well, while you're
fantastic.
thinking about it,
Talk amongst yourselves there, everybody, while you're listening to the podcast. When I start thinking this,
I mentioned a couple of through balls that Ollie Barkley.
yeah,
I'm getting as mixed up as you now.
there's the
Ross
Tiger beer
Barkley,
now.
Ross Barkley played a great ball through to Bertie at one stage, and he was caught in 2 minds whether put his lace through it or try and lob the keeper. Probably
Yes.
went with the wrong decision. You know, would have liked to see him take him on at the near post maybe, or try and whip one into the top corner. But he opted to try and chip him. But Matt Ryan is a big beast of a man, and he stayed up as long as he could and managed to get the save, which is unfortunate because I think that would have killed him off at that stage.
Yeah. I remember the two things I wanted to say now. So number one was the jersey you're wearing. We saw that jersey probably. I don't know how high your washing line is, Paddy, at home. I don't know if it's 7 or 8 foot or 9 foot high. But when when Emmy Martinez got up to that Granit Xhaka free kick, Ty Bracey put a still shot of it up on Twitter. And like he's out jumped the frame of the goal when he saves it. It's ridiculously high when he gets his hand to it. So I'm thinking that's the highest that jersey has ever been, provided you don't have a big massive clothesline at home. But it's yeah, as I say, he was fantastic today. Emmy Martinez was great today. And the reason I was bringing that up was because I put a piece up on Twitter, and I recorded a game today, and I'm going to try and do my Jamie Carragher at the sky wall thing, where I start showing things with the breakdown for the corner, because it's really interesting. I've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks about how Aston Villa defend corners. It wouldn't have been my preference of corners, but I can completely understand why they're doing it. And you know, when you've got somebody in the team, maybe like a John McGinn, that may not be good in the air, and this is what I think is the situation. And they're putting him in a zone at the back post. All right, they're putting him in the back post zone, and they're making sure the defenders are out in front of him, and they're clearing a pathway away for Emmy Martinez to also marshal that back post if the ball is floated over. So my thought process is here, and I could be 1,000,000% wrong, but I'm pretty sure that this is why they're doing it, is they're trying to hide McGinn at the back post. Yes, we saw Gabriel coming around to try and mark him and to try and get a mismatch at the back post, but I think that Dean Smith is okay with that. I know the rebuttal is going to be that we've been caught twice by it, one against Burnley and once against Vestergaard for Southampton. But the corner kicks need to be absolutely perfect, because if you think about it, it has to clear all the bodies in front of him, and Emmy Martinez has to be hemmed in on the line by other players as well, which doesn't happen too often because of the way we defend it. If you look at it, we get players out from him. You look again against Southampton last week, they put Mikel Antonio on Emmy Martinez, and there's a reason for that, because the size of Mikel Antonio is just hard to get around him. But sometimes even if they put a player on the goalkeeper, we're moving him out of the way so he can make his way back to the back post if the ball is going over. And that's Emmy Martinez's ball. And all John McGinn is there to do is to put off the guy that's there, or to be an extra a speed bump, essentially, because he's not going to stop him. So for me, it's about hiding him at the back post. And you have to think about the percentages of how good that cross needs to be to hit that man at the back post perfectly. And you think about it in this way, that when you're taking a free kick in and around the box, you put a wall there so that he can't just take a shot straight at the position he wants to shoot. He has an obstacle to get over. So when you're taking that corner, you've got this massive players that you want to avoid if you need to get to the back post. So you can't just kind of have a hit and hope into the back post. You need to avoid them. So you have to really put it on the money to get a goal at the back post from a corner. And it's not to say that it's impossible, because we've seen it twice already this year. But for me, that's my thought process, that if Emmy Martinez, that the other team have to hem him in, and like make sure that he can't move inside there in a fair way without grappling him to the ground and so on, which is very difficult because we see him grab the ball at the back post quite a lot. You have to do that, number one. And then number two, you have to have a corner kick. You have to have a fella who can take a corner kick that can put it right in your face. And Robbie Brady could do it for Burnley, and James Ward-Prowse could do it for Southampton. But very few people, and I'm open to correction in this, they're just the two that come to mind, are able to do that. But it's really, really interesting, because the commentators even picked up with it, that Gabriel is unmarked at the back post. He's there, or Gabriel had a mismatch with McGinn at the back post. I mentioned it for a period of time. And it happens. And there must be a method to the madness, and that's my hypothesis as to why that happens. And I think I'm pretty much on the money because I can't see any other reason why.
Yeah, I'd say you're probably not far off the mark. It always worries me to see a big centre half roaming around, and he was given the freedom at all the set pieces. So much so that I don't think he was sure what he wanted to do himself. He was just kind of a bit lost, like who's picking me up here? He was looking over his shoulder, and he was just, because they said it, like what I noticed at the first corner that he was completely unmarked, and then it was mentioned after maybe the second one, and after that, then he was at a loss to where to be running to, or where he even started his run from.
Mission accomplished. So
yeah,
bamboozle him.
And it's a lot harder job when a big guy is running from deep, as we've seen with the Ben Mee one arriving late at the back post on a direct run, as opposed to an arced run where you're not going to get the same power on the header.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we've done our homework in how Arsenal line up for their corners. We've had plenty of them to look at so far this season, and look, it was job done. We kept them at bay at set pieces and in normal play. God knows there was enough set pieces thanks to the whistle happy referee that I'm not going to let off the mark either today.
Very strange, man.
Absolutely terrible he was today. Like it really felt like we were playing against an extra man, especially in the first half.
But
And
Paddy,
it was really funny because at half time, he came out after half time and started giving us everything. It was like as if he went in and saw the 2 yellow cards he's after being given and went, "Oh, I better even this up a bit." It was absolutely woeful.
Paddy, did you not listen to Martin Keown? I'd say you were watching him BN Sports.
No, I actually did hear Martin Keown. Yeah.
Martin Keown. We were targeting Sacco. What was it? He said that Nakamba went through him, or no, he went through, or he did him, or he went through him, or something like that. He flicked his shin pad. Like, there was, like, Martin Keown was hilarious today. I like Martin Keown usually on commentary, but my God, the bias factor was out in spades today. And I know he played for both teams, and actually he was pretty complimentary to Villa, but he made it seem like Villa were hatchet men all together today, but it just wasn't the case. And then Jack Grealish gets kicked or gets pushed at one stage, and he goes, "Oh, he loves doing that, doesn't he? Buying free kicks." And you're like, get off it. Come on, for God's sake.
He was as biased as the referee. I don't get him. I really don't, because it's the very reason I don't subscribe to any of these sports channels, because they roll out this celebrity, so-called ex-professional who knows the stuff, and 9 times out of 10 they talk complete shite. He offers absolutely nothing in the way of Aston Villa, and is completely pro-Arsenal.
But I think that's the thing. Paddy. So it's like I wouldn't mind listening to somebody who is being what the Americans would term a color commentator. So what that would be is to basically, so you've got a commentator who's just commentating on the ball goes left to Sacco plays it back in the center to Xhaka or whatever, and then they turn around to somebody for slight analysis, to put color on the picture. That's what it's called, a color commentator. That's what I was told. I was told that by somebody. But he wasn't. All the only colours he was putting in the picture were, well, blue and yellow today, but red and white for Arsenal, So you're supposed to paint a picture of the colours of both sides. And I think the big problem is there. Look, we play against teams like United. They've got Gary Neville. You play against Liverpool. You've got Jamie Carragher, who, in fairness, does stay pretty unbiased in the main
until Liverpool go behind.
Oh, yes, but that's like, but he's a Liverpool fan, so when we were up 7-2, I can understand why he was a bit pissed off in that game.
Yeah.
Never missed a chance to say 7-2.
But it's just completely wrong. If we'd have had Jamie Carragher there today, he would have been completely impartial,
and it would have been brilliant. And Steve McManaman, when we played Man City as well, my big thing is, why have ex-professionals? Have them in the studio where they can be as biased as they want and stand up for their team, but having them in a commentary booth for me is a bit far.
You have to listen to it for the whole game.
It's
biased from the top down. So that the TV guys are biased, and they're playing to the masses of the glory hunting fans by having these guys in place. And you just want a bit of impartiality. If I watch Liverpool tomorrow, I don't want to be listening to Jamie Carragher. I don't want to. I think Jamie Carragher is quite good when he's impartial, but I don't want to listen to him. I don't see the point of it. I want to listen to somebody who can stand there or sit there at the match and not talk too much either. They're there as a secondary commentator. Speak when you need to speak. Just keep your Steve McManaman. He takes over the commentary. Anyway,
Yeah.
we're going
No,
off on a
we're going
tangent.
off on a tangent.
Referee was poor. We're not letting that go. I thought he made 2 poor decisions with the yellow cards. I thought he was very rude when Jack went to speak to him at one stage. Jack's the captain. He's quite entitled to come and ask a question. And he wasn't doing the same for Arsenal. He was explaining everything to them, and you're just scratching your head going, like, what's the point? And for the first, as I said, the first 15 minutes of the second half, I would imagine the TV was playing on loop in the dressing room. Those decisions he made in the first half and the 50-50s. He gave everything to Arsenal.
At the Villa. In the second half.
Arsenal in the first half, and then the first 15 minutes, every 50-50 we got.
Yeah. Which is good.
2 wrongs don't make a right either.
No.
For the whole game, and that's all we asked for.
Absolutely.
I'm not letting that overshadow the fact that we went and we beat 12 men today, because that's the way it felt for long periods of the game. I thought we were awesome from start to finish. I thought everybody gave their all. I thought our defense was absolutely immense, and I think there's a big shout out there for Tyrone Mings for the Laochra Sports Man of the Match. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. Credit where it's due. He played out of his skin. He got stuck in. There was no momentary lapse of concentration in the whole game. And, the Twitter warriors won't be out in force this weekend.
Do you want to know how many touches of the ball Tyrone Mings had?
Go on.
Tyrone Mings only touched the ball 38 times in that game.
Jeepers.
And 28 of them were passes. So Tyrone Mings was very efficient with his play. I'm with you, Tyrone Mings. I want to give her an honourable shout out or an honourable mention to Matty Cash. Yeah. Matty Cash is,
and Eddie Martinez as well. Obviously, wouldn't.
For
we wouldn't be there without him
for that save. And I went to shuffle his feet and kick one away. Remember when he took the clip off Konza? Yeah, and the commentators were wondering. They were like, "What the hell happened there? Why did he do that?" And when you saw it, it was actually a really, really good save. I thought both goalkeepers were pretty good today. I thought Matt Ryan made a couple of saves. There was one or two that just bounced in front of him. And for a guy who hasn't played since, I think it was December, it was actually since Brighton beat us in December of last year, of the last season, should I say. I don't think he's played in the league since. They mentioned something along those lines. But Matty Cash, I thought, was excellent today. Matty Cash carried the water for us today. The most touches of the ball. He had the most passes of the ball today. He passed the ball 44 times. He had 61 touches. We were down on the amount of touches and passes that we normally have in games today for obvious reasons, because we didn't have hardly any possession. But Matty Cash, for me, is very, very, very he's very high up there on my and my man crushes with this team at the moment. He's just so good. He always looks like he's overwhelmed because he goes at everything 90 miles to the gallon, which is brilliant. Not a criticism of him when I say you look overwhelmed, but he hopes with absolutely everything. He's just brilliant. And he bombed on today, and he got down the wing, and you can see it. You can see there's been a bit of a change in the last couple of weeks to try and arrest the situation we had, maybe with losses, whereby Traore is getting very few touches of the ball now, but he's defending very, very doggedly. Trezeguet comes on. Trezeguet comes on, and how many touches? Trezeguet only had 10 touches of the ball when he came on. Traore only had 27 touches of the ball. So like on that right hand side for our wingers, they had 37 touches of the ball throughout the whole game. That's with 2 players. That's not a lot at all. That would have been comfortably, it would have been last of all touches in the Arsenal team, and that's between 2 men. So the guys defended really, really well, and Trezeguet was the perfect sub to bring on because he's really good to see out a very disciplined performance on that right wing there. So if we were bringing on Trezeguet to chase a game, it's 50-50. All right, he comes up at the back post with goals and stuff like that, and it's fantastic, and this is not slighting him. But when you bring him on, you're 1-0 up. This goes back to what I've said on Twitter a couple of times. We're a very good front runner because we have such a good disciplined system, and we have players now that are comfortable playing in it, a la Trezeguet, who comes on today and just shuts down that right wing while offering an outlet to get down the wing with decent pace, a decent delivery, and as we know, pops up at the back post every so often for a goal. So squad usage today, I think, was spot on from Dean Smith. Maybe, look, hindsight is 2020. Looking back at the game, I know I said about Nakamba, was I fully behind it when I saw it? Full disclosure, there was definitely, I was probably about 68% happy, 32% kind of nervous when I saw a change in midfield that was Nakamba for Douglas Luiz. But overall, look, you just have to be really happy with the performance as well today. Jacob Ramsey came on. He had 3 touches of the ball, and 2 of them were absolutely majestic. One was where he just like rolled his foot over the ball and absolutely goosed Granit Xhaka, I think in the middle of the field, and then took the ball on and had a shot and you know, showed great confidence. I love that. So fair play to him. He's like, it's great to see him being trusted to come in there when you've got 14 million pounds of a Frenchman there too, who will have his day in the sun as the games go on. So delighted, just literally absolutely thrilled with that game today. We've 6 days to bask in the glory of that game. And
just a quick shout out, there was an incident in the first half that went largely unnoticed where Mings was overloaded by 2 Arsenal players, and he goaded the attacking player into passing it to the guy out wide, but he absolutely read the interception perfectly.
oh yeah,
it was absolutely brilliant to watch. So if you get a chance, if you are looking back at the game, have a look at it. It's about 20-25 minutes in. Fantastic. He just goaded him into passing the ball, and then the minute he swung to pass the ball, he was on to cut out the pass. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
So yeah,
fair
but
play to him.
that's one of the reasons I have him as my man of the match. I thought it was really great.
Tyrone Mings, absolutely Laochra Sports man of the match. And that's not actually a bad time to kind of let you guys know that we have a website. I finally did it. Got the finger out. www.fortheloveofpaulmcgrath.com. And you'll be able to find stuff there. We just have like, I want realistically, all I wanted to do was put up and keep a track of who was getting this man in the matches, because I can't remember from one game to the next. I know we've probably given like 40 of them already, even though we've only had 19 or 20 games. We've given over 40 of them to Emi Martinez. But I just wanted to keep a track to see, because it'd be interesting to come back at the end of the year. So if anybody has them written down somewhere and could send them on to me via DM, it would save me having to listen back to all the podcasts, so I could pop them up on the
Unlikely,
website.
I'd say, but you never know.
Yeah, there's any one of the 7 listeners that we have that will be able to DM them on to me. That would be fantastic. But that's my job now after this, is to go back and listen to the endings of all the podcasts that Paddy has had to remind me about the Laochra Sports man a match to do. But yeah, we'll be having a bit of crack on there. We'll throw up a small few it'll evolve as time comes, but basically, look, it's going to be a landing page for if anybody wants to buy one of our hats. They're up on the website as well. You'll be able to see there's a shop there. I do have to have full disclosure when putting the shop up there. The shipping rates are calculated by the supplier. They may be slightly different to the ones that were charged previously, especially for Canada and North America. There might be a slight increase. Just as I say, out of our hands with regards to that. That's the service operator. What am I trying to say? The postage company, the Pony Express, whatever you want to call them. I can't remember. That's what they're charging. And look, it's just one of those things that is generated based on the size of the parcel and the weight of it. So yeah, as I say, apologies about that, but hands are tied with that, and it's not coming to us, I suppose, really, but I just wanted full disclosure on that one there. But all other prices are remain untouched. And that's really going to kind of do it. As I say, thanks to everybody for listening. It's always good to come on here and chat about a victory. It's always good to come on here and drown our sorrows as well, and a defeat as well. But give me more victories than defeats. I'd prefer those. Before we go, I want to leave you with a statistic. And a happy statistic, and I'm going to bring it up on my phone because I just found it 5 minutes beforehand here. I had to go digging for it because I had to make it myself. And it was Emi Martinez is on 11 clean sheets at the moment in the Premier League this year. Paddy, we're going to play a quiz. So there's only 2 goalkeepers in the Premier League era who have higher clean sheet records in a year. Can you name them? Can you tell me how many clean sheets they had? And can you tell me the years that they had them in? So name the goalkeepers first, anyway. See if you can name the 2 goalkeepers.
Allison.
No. Aston Villa goalkeepers. Aston Villa
Aston Villa
goalkeepers. Yeah.
goalkeepers.
Oh no. Only two Villa goalkeepers. Yeah.
Brad Friedel,
Correct.
0809
Hit the post.
910.
Yes.
And Bozzy,
Yes.
95, 96.
Correct.
Hey.
Just goes to show Paddy doesn't read my Twitter either, because I put that up just before we started recording. And but actually, this is the real asset test. How many clean sheets did Bozzy have in 95, 96?
Oh God, 15.
No, close. It was 13. And how many did Brad Friedel have, which is higher, in 0910?
I feel like I should know this one.
You might have said it for the last answer.
15.
Yes, yeah, 15. So with 17 games remaining, Emi Martinez could join exalted company in probably our two best goalkeepers in the Premier League era. And we're one season in with him, guys. One season in with him. Dean Smith knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. And Jack Grealish is on course for 10 and 10. Ollie Watkins has 10 goals or 11 goals. Does he have 10 or 11 goals? 10 goals in Premier League already. I read a great statistic. It's taken him 21 games to get to 10 goals. It took him, no, it's after flying out of my mind now. I think it took him 32 games to get to 10 goals in League 2, and it took him 34 games to get to, or League 1, and it took him 34 games to get to 10 goals in the Championship. He's got to 10 goals in 21 games in the Premier League. Man's going to be a star if he keeps going the way he is, and his work rate as well. And I think, we're going to have an international break coming up soon. I want to do a full week on Ollie Watkins' breakdown and how good he is, because the man is a sparkler. Really, really is. And we're going to end it at that, because I'll get too excited and Paddy has somewhere to be. So thanks everybody for listening.
I have to get a room to do a Zoom quiz.
That's yes, exactly. We're back to Zoom quizzes again here.
Breaking lockdown or something.
We're back to Zoom quizzes here in Ireland again, because we're in lockdown so long again. But they've grown back the Zoom quizzes. But listen, guys, great victory. Thanks so much for everybody for listening. You can catch Paddy on @PhilipPaddy. You can catch me on @LoveMcGrath Pod. Thanks for everything you do for the podcast. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the kind words that we get the whole time. It really, really means a lot. As we said end of the last podcast, lockdown's getting you down. You need to just talk mindlessly about Aston Villa. Give us a shout. We're just a DM away. There's one or two guys, I won't mention who they were, did it actually. They mentioned they chatted to me during the week, and it was great. It's great to just get chatting and know people as well. And hopefully it makes a difference, because we get the opportunity to do this here and get stuff off our chest sometimes as well. But we're going to leave it at that. Aston Villa have equaled their points total of last season already, and we've 17 games to go. As I said in the Villa View, I think we're not going to be relegated. And all that's left to say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.